Okay, so I have been experiencing like this phenomena. It's like deja vu plus the Mandela effect. It's like an event that occurred, but it didn't occur, but like I remember it occurring. Like something will happen, and then later on, I will remember, hold on a second, that happened exactly the way it happened before I experienced it, and I'm now remembering these two instances in the past. One that happened an hour ago, and another that happened God knows when. I don't know what the hell that's called. It's very, very strange. I haven't experienced it for a long time. Not a long time, but maybe about a year or so. A bit less than a year. It's, I don't know what to call it, except deja vela effect. I don't fucking know. Um, I will also, like, especially those of you who are spiritual as I am, know that like places that have a lot of echo, spirits, and like of any kind are more. I think the word is like frivolous. Um, they're stronger in their presences. They can affect you more. I don't know what that sound is. I think it's. I don't know what that is. It's very weird. Oh, I know what that is. Okay. Um, so, like in places such as caves, prisons, jails, a place where there's a lot of echo, spirits can and will affect you more than normal. Pew, pew. Oh, pew. But it's like if you were to go to sleep in like a certain place, um, one of those echoey places. So you could go sleep in a cave and there's bad stuff has happened in that cave. And you spend a lot of time there, so you get lost in the cave, lost in these caverns. You will experience these instances where you might drift off to sleep. And if you're spiritually inclined, as myself, you will experience like very intense like hallucinations, things that you may not see or hear. When I was incarcerated, I would hear birds. Sometimes things were pleasant, sometimes they weren't. I would hear birds just like as clearly as I'm talking to you now. That doesn't really happen outside of places like that. When I would also be in my negative ways, um, I would be oppressed by demonic forces. Um, and as morbid as my mind is, it doesn't really bother me, these images. I'm going to describe to you what I've seen flash in my mind as I would drift off to sleep. And that's why sleep, when you go into that subconscious state, that's when the paranormal can actually affect you more intensely than when you're awake because you're more vulnerable, you know. So when I would drift off to sleep, these things would happen. You've probably experienced it too. So listen to this. I have seen, when I was in my negative ways, I would see literal demons. Deep, guttural, bellowy growls, like a beastly growl, with like fleshy lips, and then dark purple gums with teeth about that long, covered in brown and yellow tartar, like sulfur yellow tartar. And it just goes, and they'd like, it flash, like in my mind. um, I've also experienced very beautiful things, like the birds. I would go to sleep and I would hear the birds tweet, tweet, tweet in my mind, and it was very, very nice, very pleasant. Um, I've actually experienced like other spirits, like people spirits and animal spirits, people and animals that I know that are dead and alive. Um, Buster and Amber, even my cat that is no longer around. I apologized to my cat, and like the last day that I was there, and his spirit came up into my lap, and he crawled up all over me, and I felt his little claws on my arms and my legs. I felt it. Um, and again, I'm very spiritually inclined, so it may or may not happen to you who may be less than or are not, but or it may happen to you more intensely, those who are more spiritually inclined than I am. But I also would call Buster, like I would say, Father, would you let Buster come down and see me or visit me? And then I was like, Buster, where are you, baby girl? And Buster would come down into my room and my cell. Even Amber did, and both of them were in my room. And I would smell them. I'd feel their fur, very soft and coarse, and different parts of the dog's bodies where the different, it's like beard hair and head hair and chest hair. They're all different kinds of hairs. But like I felt them, I smelled them. I didn't like see them. It was more like I saw a silhouette, and the vibration that they were giving me was like, I know who this person is, or this animal. This is Buster, and I'll be there. And I would call her, like, come here, like, and I would scratch her neck, like, here, and I could feel her fur. And then one time there was a girl that I've known for maybe 11, 12 years. She's still alive. Now, I was in a terrible way, terrible, lonely way. And I said, Father, I'm not feeling it. I didn't feel like dying, but I was very, very depressed and negative. And I said, I'm thinking about Camille. I don't know why. Maybe she's thinking of me, or she was thinking of me, but I said, would you bring her spirit to me, just for some comfort? And then I felt Camille sort of like manifest her spirit like into the room. And she lives in France, right? And it was about midnight, and she wakes up, last I talked to her, about 5 in the morning. So it was about like 7 or 8 in the morning for her. So she would have been awake. Camille came into my room. I was under my blankets. She sort of like lifted the blankets, but the blankets didn't lift. The blankets didn't move themselves, but it was like a spiritual, astrophysical thing. It's strange. I don't know how to describe it, but like in an astral sort of aspect. So Camille came into the room, and she crawled onto my cot and my stone slab with my little nylon mattress, and she lay beside me. She rubbed my shoulder, and she called me honey. And I had forgotten that she called me honey. And that's when I knew that's who she was. That she was really there. She called me honey. I'd forgotten. And I knew that God brought her spirit to me. That had to come from me. She rubbed